beautiful.
I can't look down.
Send us to
Look
Josh.
at her. Watch her neck.
She's so
Yeah,
cute.
why so
Oh
awkward?
my
Go.
god, I need to have a kid. I need to have it. Oh my god. Oh, she's smiling. I want to take my top off and have skin to skin contact.
Whenever I talk about conservatives, what I specifically mean is the faux right who just want to return to a time in living memory. They want to return to the 50s or the 80s or the 90s, basically like children who can't grow up, like children who can't realize that, hey, the world normally isn't the way you remember it as a child. And I say this as someone who loved growing up in the 90s. I miss the 90s just as much as anyone does. But it's unrealistic to want the 90s to come back. But conservatives, that's what they are trying to achieve. You know, and people say, like, we need a new name for conservatives. No, I think conservatives are living up to their name just fine. They want to conserve something that either already happened or is still happening, and they just don't want it to go away. A conservative of today would be considered a progressive, possibly even a communist from 100 years ago. It's always subjective. But being a traditionalist is not the same as being a conservative. I think of conservatives as being left-wing. I've made an entire video on it already, but I'm sure you've been able to gather that from several of my videos as it is. Conservatives are not right-wing. We don't have a right wing in America. I would argue we don't have a right wing in most of the West. Actual right-wingers are rather rare, because we've been living it up with the democracy and egalitarian life for so long. You know, we don't have any living memory of the natural order. Democracy and egalitarianism is all anyone who is currently alive has ever known. And that is where we get to this woman. I've been seeing this video all over my Twitter feed, and frankly, it both makes me happy and sad. I'm happy that so many conservatives are, at least they're for having children, but they will never give up the things that are keeping more children from being born, the things that have destroyed the West in the first place. They want the results without putting the work in. Just give, conservatives, their entire psyche is give me all the good stuff, but don't make me have to earn it. Don't make me be realistic. Let me keep my ideology. Let me keep all the things that are comforting to believe, while also giving me all the results that I want. It's very childish, very selfish, very stupid. This woman, bless her soul, she wants a baby after holding one. Before this video was taken, she told her friends and family that she didn't want kids. Bless her soul, she wants to be a mother deep down. And holding a baby activated that within her. And conservatives want it to be that simple. They want these easy solutions like, oh, we just need to do this one thing and it'll fix everything. And then we can go right back to the 50s or the 90s. You'll never convince a conservative that in order to get all of the things that we want, we're going to have to first acknowledge that egalitarianism needs to go. And many of them will agree, but they don't truly know what they are agreeing to. You see, most women are not like this woman. This does not happen with most women. Let's start with the most obvious thing. If this was all that most women want, if this is truly all that it took to get women to want to become mothers again, to get women to become traditional again, if this is all it took to make women want to become mothers again, well, we would have noticed this a long time ago, and we would have started trying this a long time ago. I'm seeing people post like, oh, we just need to bring babies to parties now. We just need to bring babies to the workplace or whatever. I'm seeing a lot of talk along those lines. Why are we just realizing this now? We needed to have millions upon millions of abortions before we realized this. All I ask is that you make it make sense. Why are we just now realizing this is what we need? It took a random TikTok to make us realize this is what we need? I don't think so. This TikTok is an example of conservatives living in deep denial. They want to continue living with egalitarianism while having all of the results of traditionalism. Conservatives are completely spineless and stupid. Let's go through some of the ridiculous reactions to this video by conservatives. The moment when biological instinct defeats third-wave feminism. The moment you realize your whole worldview was wrong. Feminism deleted and reset to factory settings. The Japanese government has tried all manner of methods to increase the birth rate, from better maternity leave to literally paying parents, when they could have just had every high school girl take a child care class and have all of them hold babies in their arms. She reverted back to factory settings when she held her friend's baby. Society tells women to work and be a slave to corporate jobs, but something happens as a woman when you hold a baby. That motherly nature and desire given by God takes over. Yet another reason why the kid-free wedding trend needs to be stopped. It's almost like there's this thing called biology, and it tells women what's right for them, and we've built an entire society around telling them not to trust biology and making it extremely difficult for them to do so, even if they resist the conditioning. Fertility is in a rapid downward spiral because the number of kids you want is proportional to the number of kids you interact with in daily life. And as people have fewer siblings and cousins, and those siblings and cousins have fewer kids, that number exponentially decreases. Finally, if you don't understand this, watch it over and over again. Meditate on what's going on here. The solution to the modern women problem is not an argument, it's a set of experiences, ideally offered in childhood and young adulthood. Well, Mr. Black Horse, I'm afraid you are the one who doesn't understand this, and you need to watch it over and over again and meditate on what's going on here. Again, I say, if this actually worked, we would have noticed it a long time ago. This is just conserva-slop. This is not going to happen. Conservatives and traditionalists are not going to start, bringing babies to everything and passing them around to single, childless women. I mean, sure, I'd like to see them try, but I think we all know that's not going to work. I think we all know we would have tried this if it was going to work. Most women are not like this woman. For example, ultrasounds don't eliminate abortions. That's a myth. That's a myth from the pro-life side of things. As much as I wish that was true, women don't change their mind about getting abortions after they've seen an ultrasound. It does next to nothing to stop them. And then, of course, there's the statistics of, what I bring this up all the time, the number of abortions that take place every single day. So ultrasounds don't stop women from having abortions, and they have abortions all the time. Brian from the Whatever Podcast, I salute you. Your podcast is a service to mankind. It is a weekly reminder of how women really think, from how evil they are to how stupid they are, and why they should never be trusted with power. But every time I watch this show, which I admit has, been a while, but I'm sure it hasn't changed much. Every time I've watched this show, there's a whole segment on abortion. There's a whole segment on, should abortions be allowed? And the women overwhelmingly say yes. Yes, women's opinions are mostly shaped by the pressures they're surrounded by socially. But don't forget the fact that women also have an incredible amount of freedom these days. More than they've ever had at any point in human history. And this is the life they choose. These are the choices they make. They want to off their kids. They don't want to have kids in the first place. And if I still haven't proven my point to you, let me talk about my own first-hand experiences with women. And I guarantee everyone watching this video has plenty of examples of their own to bring up. Let's start with my mother. She had 7 kids. 7. And the only reason she didn't abort any of us is because she's Catholic. Thankfully, the one Catholic lifestyle choice she ever made was not aborting her kids. And I've been told I need to be a lot more thankful for that, as if it justifies everything else my mother ever did. She had 7 kids and abandoned 6 of them, and completely mentally fucked up the one kid she didn't abandon. She actually had kids. Conservatives want to believe that just holding a baby makes women amazing. Just holding a baby reveals how wonderful women are. My mother actually had children. She didn't just hold a baby one day. She had kids, 7 of them. Then there's my ex-wife, who never wanted kids in the first place. The only reason that we had a kid, the only reason that my ex-wife and I had a kid was because I wanted to have kids. I did. She didn't. And while she was pregnant, she even said, if our marriage doesn't work out, I'll just let you have our child. She actually said that to me. And now it's been years since we got divorced. And she hasn't had another kid since. She never wanted them in the first place, and even after the one, she said, no more. And she has had plenty of boyfriends and hookups since we got divorced. Okay, it's not like she hasn't had an opportunity to get pregnant again. Again, another example of an actual mother for whom having children, holding babies, did nothing to change her nature. Did nothing to change her mind about having kids at all. And hell, I'll even bring up this example as much as I don't want to. It's actually, the fact that I don't want to just proves the point even more. My own grandmother, an otherwise very traditional woman, she had 9 kids. 9 kids. 7 of them were born within 7 years. And to this day, she's approaching her 90s. To this day, she laments having kids instead of a career. She always clarifies, I love my kids. I don't regret having my kids, but I wish I had a career. I wish I had spent my youth having a career. I couldn't believe it when I heard her say that the first time. And I've heard her say it at least 3 times. Still blows my mind. She has seen with her own eyes the benefits of having so many children. She's an old woman now. Her children are the only ones who give her company. Everyone else she ever knew, from her husband, my grandpa, to the friends she grew up with, her best friend included, they're all gone now. Her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and now great-great-grandchildren, are the only ones who give her company now. Genuine, personal company. Company apart from, going to church and the people there. And she still laments not having a career, which would have required her to sacrifice having a few kids. Some of her kids, if not most of them, would have never been born if she had had a career, and she still wishes she had had one. And mind you, she started having kids. She had most of her kids before feminism became popular. Just as it was kicking off, half of her kids were born just as feminism was just kicking off in popularity in the 60s. Decades later, even after raising her kids, after having all of these babies, after her kids are the only ones who give her company now, her kids and their kids and their kids, hasn't changed anything. I don't doubt she loves her children. I don't doubt that at all. But she still, to this day, wishes for something that would have required her to sacrifice them to some degree. The plummeting birth rates are worldwide. It's not just America. And if you look across history, whenever things improve for a nation, whenever a nation experiences tremendous wealth, prosperity, and peace, the birth rates always go down. Why? Because women don't want to have children. The moral of this video is conservatives will believe anything, before believing that women are just simply awful creatures that need to be subjugated. In fact, the virality of this TikTok is a message of the opposite of the truth, trying to tell the world, trying to even tell themselves, that women are secretly amazing. They just need to have their amazingness activated. The truth is the opposite. Even when they have kids, they still don't want them for the most part. An instinct to do a task is not an instinct to want to do that task. Again, I say, bless this woman But just because she got a little emotional holding a baby doesn't mean she's going to feel that way forever anyway. Don't pretend like she'll never change her mind. Remember, she didn't want kids before holding this baby. That feeling could easily come back when life gets a little stressful. When she's had 2 or 3, it gets a little stressful and she'll change her mind. Not guaranteed, but likely. Conservatives, wake up. Women are awful creatures. You would rather the West be burned to the ground, destroyed, both physically and spiritually. You would rather have that fate meet us all than accept what it takes to truly fix our problems. What will fix our problems? Not trad LARPing, an actual return to tradition, which is hierarchical, which means women are told what to do. Stop waiting around for women to become amazing. Stop waiting around for women to reveal their inner angel. That's never going to happen. You're betting the future of your countries on this desire to see women just become these perfect beings. Oh, if it wasn't for feminism, they'd be perfect. Grow up.